Like, if we didn't know the order, what's going to happen? Go on after Jim Gaffigan. It's going to be terrible. And then I had a couple people that buffer me. So they brought out Todd Perry. So you got it real close. It's Scho-Bodt. I have Scho-Bodt. It's actually, it's two last names. It's long and complicated. It's both of my parents' last names. They decided when they got married, neither one of them was willing to give up their last name. So instead, they are now divorced. We've been going through kind of all these different changes as a family. We used to be this kind of leave it to beaver type family. My dad's a minister, and also a librarian. My brother and I do all the school. No daughters, but I do theater, so. And now, since they got divorced, my dad is married to a black Canadian woman with 2 high school age kids, with stepbrothers, if you will. And my mom also has a new girlfriend. So, we've gone from being Seventh Heavens family to the modern family. And if anybody's keeping track, I use television references from 3 different decades in that joke. So my dad mentioned he's a preacher from Maryland. I don't know what kind of disagreements you guys might have gotten into with your parents, but I'll tell you this. It is far more difficult to win an argument if your opponent is the mouth of God. You got nothing to say, it's Jesus. Now, plenty of times I would come home too late after curfew, 6:30, and without any dinner at all, he would just send me straight to hell. Game over. No, he's a sweetheart. He did wash my mouth out once with soap because I said the F word. Fart. I swear to God. My mom, I said, that's just a big L word. I'm a librarian. No, I'm really proud of her for coming out. It's not easy. If I did have one caveat, little thing with it, it would be that she has completely ruined porn for me. That's the only kind you can watch if you don't want to piss in your face, and for 5 minutes, just reminding you of your mediocrity. But every time I'll put one on, you get like 5 minutes into it, and then this little voice in the back of your head, it's like, hey. Yeah? And your mom probably does that. Should have seen it coming. I've never been able to enjoy the sexy librarian. What are you doing here? Yeah, you guys ready for that? So we meet some crazy people here in the city. I got yelled at the other day. So I don't know, so imagine how Caesar said she was going to call cops on me for nothing. So the other day we were outside to a restaurant, a couple of friends of mine, and as we were coming out, there was this older Hispanic woman. She was walking up to us. She got a car, 5 coats on, and I have lived in the city long enough that my heart has been hardened, and I try to avoid eye contact with anybody I think might ask me for money. Not because I think they're going to use it for drugs and alcohol, just because I want to use it for drugs and alcohol. But my friend Matt, this kid is a friend to the world. He would be nice to anybody, but he's left-handed, he's got red hair. He's got a lot wrong with him. Pretty sure that tonight he's wearing the shirt that Dexter wears to kill people. No, so this guy, he gives her a big smile, and so she comes walking up to him, and first she grabs his hands in his, she holds him tight, and she says, I have to match it. And then she gives him this big hug, like the kind of hug you give your sailor boyfriend who's coming home from war in the middle of Times Square. She hugs him really tight for like just long enough that it starts to get weird, and then another couple of seconds. and then she breaks free, and she goes to our other friend Nick, and she does the same thing. She gives him a big hug, and then she gets to me, like, oh, you want to go for the hat trick? Which is both English and an idiom, so there's no way that she knows what I'm saying. But regardless, she smiles anyway, gives me this big hug, and then as she pulls away, she's ever so gently cups my balls and gives me this little like knowing grin. Just for a second, and then she goes right back down the line. She does it to Matt, and he awkwardly retorts and oh, the first one's free. And then she gets to Bono and just barely gets out no por favor. And then she just went on down the street. And I kept thinking about it the whole night, and first thing she said to us was, I have magic. But for the rest of the night, I didn't feel like anything was really different. And the next morning, I was so irritated about it that I didn't even make her breakfast. I just kicked her right out. Now, I don't know if you guys can tell I'm kind of a health nut. It's sort of my thing. Now, I eat a lot of candy. It's one of my favorites. But I'll be honest, I have kind of a bone to pick with the candy companies lately because I've noticed they have the extra big candy bars of all different kinds, and they used to call those the king size. You know, that felt really good. King size. But the other day I went and I got one of the large Twix, and I noticed that they've changed it to a sharing size. That hurts my feelings. I used to be a king. I needed the extra sustenance so I could rule over my dominion with iron in my fists and gentility in my heart and nougat in my belly. And now I'm just some fat asshole eating enough food for 2 people. You see the sharing size, it's got nobody to share it with. I used to work in a library myself, actually, while I was in school. I used to work with this woman, this Asian woman, Jo May. She used to get on the phone all the time, and she would talk in Asian to whoever she was talking to. In Asian, that's the language. And, no, she's Chinese, and she would speak to whoever it was on the other end, but very loudly. Now, it was a business library in a state school, so nobody was there. But if they had been, it would have been really, really obnoxious. But what was really especially odd about it, I don't know if you guys know this, but there was a word in Mandarin and Chinese, it's like a filler word. It means or what. I'm sure I've said a lot of them tonight. And it sounds an awful lot like a word that would be very offensive to some of our citizens with, shall we say, a higher melanin count. And so she would get on the phone, and she'd say, oh, 现在生泡那个生块然后炒那个生泡 So then a couple days later, I was at my Asian lookalike club, and I'm always trying to figure out what country it is. Germany. Now, she told me what this word meant, that it was something that was just a filler word, so I felt better about it. So the next day I went back, and she was back on the phone. She said, oh, so milk priest. Scho-Bodt, I don't think you're using it right. Alright, thank you guys. I've had a scope. Yeah!